Bill of lading, one of the most important shipping documents, is needed to be understood clearly for completion of international trade cycles smoothly. Today, we're tackling a really important one, Article 20 of UCP 600, which is all about the Bill of Lading. If you're in trade, you know this document is the backbone of shipping goods across the globe. It's a document of title, a receipt for goods, and evidence of the contract of carriage. Before going too deep dive into UCP Article 20, let us see the what is Bill of Lading. A Bill of Lading (BL) is a crucial legal document in shipping that serves as a receipt of goods, evidence of a contract of carriage, and a document of title. It is issued by the carrier, for example, shipping line, airline, or trucking company to the shipper and must accompany the shipped goods. What are key features of Bill of Lading? Number 1. Receipt of goods. The BL confirms that the carrier has received the specified cargo in the condition noted on the document. A clean bill indicates no damage or discrepancies, while a claused or dirty bill notes existing issues. This receipt is vital for insurance and customs purposes. Number 2. Evidence of a contract of carriage. It outlines the terms and conditions of the transportation agreement between the shipper and the carrier, detailing the responsibilities and liabilities of each party. Number 3. Document of title. The BL represents ownership of the cargo. The legal holder of the original bill has the right to claim the goods at the destination port. This function is vital for international trade and financing, as the document can be used as collateral or transferred to other parties during transit. Now let us see types of Bill of Lading that are available in international shipment domains. Number 1. Straight Bill of Lading. A non-negotiable document consigning the goods to a specific party. The goods can only be delivered to the named consignee, and the document cannot be transferred. Number 2. Order Bill of Lading. A negotiable document that allows for the transfer of ownership of the goods during transit by endorsement signing over the document to another party. This is commonly used in international trade involving letters of credit. Number 3. Clean Bill of Lading. Indicates that the goods were received by the carrier in apparent good condition, without any noted damages or discrepancies. Number 4. Claused or dirty Bill of Lading. Notes existing damage, shortages, or defective packaging of the goods when received by the carrier. The buyer's bank may reject this type of BL. Number 5. Thorough Bill of Lading. It covers multiple modes of transportation, for example, sea, rail, road from origin to destination. Such Bill of Lading is used to facilitate seamless movement of goods across different transport methods. It simplifies logistics for international and inland transportation. Number 6. Bearer Bill of Lading. This sort of Bill of Lading can be endorsed to transfer ownership to another party, and it is negotiable. Such kind of Bill of Lading is very common in international trade where goods may be sold multiple times during transit. This type is frequently used in transactions supported by a letter of credit. Number 7. House BL and Master Bill of Lading. House BL is generally issued by freight forwarder to the shipper and Master Bill of Lading issued by the main carrier to the freight forwarder. This type is common in consolidated shipments involving multiple shippers. Understanding the relationship between these two documents helps avoid miscommunications in large shipping operations. Number 8. Electronic Bill of Lading. A digital equivalent of a paper BL that streamlines processes, reduces costs, and allows for instantaneous transmission. An ideal bill of lading generally includes the following information in the most cases: names and addresses of the shipper exporter and the consignee receiver, details of the carrier or transportation company, date of pickup or shipment, origin port or place of loading and destination port or place of discharge, a detailed description of the goods, including type, quantity, weight, dimensions, and packaging, for example, pallets, cartons, drums, any special handling instructions or hazardous material designations, purchase order numbers, reference numbers, and the freight class. So the bill of lading is more than just a shipping document. It's a vital instrument that underpins the entire logistics and supply chain process. By serving as a receipt, contract, and title document, it ensures that goods are transported efficiently, legally, and securely. Understanding its nuances is indispensable for professionals engaged in the movement of goods across borders. Getting it right is crucial. And that's exactly what Article 20 helps us do. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, take a notebook, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of what makes a bill of lading compliant under a letter of credit. First of all, let's see what sub-Article 20(1) says. A bill of lading, however named, must appear to indicate the name of the carrier and be signed by 1. The carrier or a named agent for or on behalf of the carrier, or 2. The master or a named agent for or on behalf of the master. Any signature by the carrier, master, or agent must be identified as that of the carrier, master, or agent. Any signature by an agent must indicate whether the agent has signed for or on behalf of the carrier or for, or on behalf of the master. This sounds simple, but the who and how of the signature is where things can get tricky. Let's say a bill of lading is signed by ABC Shipping Agents as agent. Agent for whom? UCP 600 requires clarity. The signature must specify that the agent is signing for or on behalf of the carrier. If it just says as agent, the bank will reject it. The document needs to explicitly name the carrier and then link the agent's signature back to that named carrier. For example, a correct signature would look like ABC Shipping Agents, as agent for and on behalf of XYZ Shipping Line, the carrier. That clarity is non-negotiable. Sub-Article 2 indicates that the goods have been shipped on board a named vessel at the port of loading stated in the credit by 1. Pre-printed wording, or 2. An on-board notation indicating the date on which the goods have been shipped on board. The date of issuance of the bill of lading will be deemed to be the date of shipment unless the bill of lading contains an on-board notation indicating the date of shipment, in which case the date stated in the on-board notation will be deemed to be the date of shipment. If there is no date other than the issuance date on a bill of lading, this date will be treated as shipment date. When a specific date by stamp or other electronic means or notations mention the actual date of on board, the later date will be considered as date of shipment. If the bill of lading contains the indication intended vessel or similar qualification in relation to the name of the vessel, an on-board notation indicating the date of shipment and the name of the actual vessel is required. ISBP 725 paragraph E6c clarifies, notwithstanding that a credit may require a bill of lading to evidence a port-to-port shipment, when a bill of lading 1. indicates a place of receipt different from the port of loading, for example, place of receipt Amsterdam and port of loading Rotterdam, and there is an indication of a means of pre-carriage either in the pre-carriage field or the place of receipt field. Regardless of whether it is pre-printed shipped on board or received for shipment, it is to bear a dated on-board notation, which also indicates the name of the vessel and the port of loading stated in the credit. Such notation may also appear in a designated field or box. The date appearing in the onboard notation or designated field or box will be deemed to be the date of shipment. For an example, notation must be like, shipped on board on August 20th, 2025 on MV Rudro at Singapore Port is a typical example for such notation. 2. It also indicates a means of pre-carriage either in the pre-carriage field or the place of receipt field, no matter if no place of receipt is stated or whether it is pre-printed shipped on board or received for shipment. It is to bear a dated on board notation, which also indicates the name of the vessel and the port of loading stated in the credit. Such notation may also appear in a designated field or box. The date appearing in the onboard notation or designated field or box will be deemed to be the date of shipment. Next up, the article states that the bill of lading must indicate that the goods have been shipped on board a named vessel at the port of loading. This is the famous on-board notation. A simple received for shipment bill of lading is not enough unless it's later updated with an on-board notation. This notation must include the date of shipment, and that date becomes the official date of shipment for the letter of credit. Let's imagine a letter of credit requires shipment. By October 31st, the bill of lading is pre-printed with received for shipment on October 25th. That's not good enough. We need an additional stamp or notation that says shipped on board October 28th, along with the vessel's name. That date, October 28th, is what the bank will check against the LC's deadline. If the onboard notation doesn't have a date, then the issue date of the bill of lading itself is considered the date of shipment. This little detail can make or break a presentation. Article 20 also requires the bill of lading to indicate shipment. From the port of loading to the port of discharge stated in the credit. This seems obvious, right? But what about transshipment? That's when goods are moved from one vessel to another during their journey. The article says that even if the letter of credit prohibits transshipment, a bill of lading is still acceptable if it indicates that transshipment will or may take place. As long as the entire journey is covered by that single bill of lading, there's a common misconception here. The rule is designed to accommodate modern container shipping, where feeder vessels are often used to bring containers to a main port to be loaded onto a larger mother vessel. So if your bill of lading shows the initial port is, say, a smaller regional port, and the final destination is across the ocean, it's understood that a transfer might happen at a major hub port. This is perfectly fine under UCP 600, as long as the carrier is responsible for the entire carriage. Now let's talk about the number of originals. A bill of lading is typically issued in a full set, which usually means 3 originals. Article 20 says the presentation must include a full set of originals as issued. If a bill of lading states that it was issued in 3 originals, you must present all 3. If you present only 2, the bank will raise a discrepancy. Why is this so important? Because each original is a document of title. If one original is used to claim the goods from the carrier, the others become void. So to have control over the goods, the bank needs the full set. Let me give you a classic case study. An exporter presented 2 out of 3 original bills of lading to the bank. The importer, who somehow got hold of the 3rd original, was able to clear the goods from the port without the bank's involvement. The bank was left with documents that were essentially worthless, and the exporter didn't get paid through the L or C. This highlights the critical importance of controlling every single original copy. What about charter party bills of lading? Article 20 specifically states that a bill of lading containing an indication that it is subject to a charter party is not acceptable. This is what we call a charter party bill of lading, and it's covered by a different rule, Article 22. The reason is that a charter party is a separate private contract between the ship owner and the person chartering the vessel. A bank doesn't want to deal with the terms of a contract it has never seen. A standard bill of lading, often called a liner bill of lading, stands on its own. A charter party bill of lading, however, incorporates terms from another document, creating uncertainty for the bank. So, if your LC calls for a document under Article 20, make sure it's a clean, standard bill of lading, not one that mentions a charter party. Let's touch on some other practical points. The bill of lading must name the consignee as required by the letter of credit. It might be consigned to the order of the issuing bank, which is very common, as it gives the bank control over the goods until the importer pays up. It also needs to show the notify party, which is usually the importer, so they can be informed when the shipment arrives. Any alterations on the bill of lading must be authenticated by the issuer, whether the carrier or their agent, or the master or his agent. You can't just cross something out and write in a new detail. It needs a stamp and signature next to the correction to prove the carrier approved the change. Banks will scrutinize these details meticulously. Let's look at a real-world example to tie this all together. A company in Vietnam was exporting coffee to a buyer in Germany under a letter of credit. The LC required a full set of onboard marine bills of lading. The exporter presented the documents, but the bill of lading was signed by a freight forwarder as agent. It didn't specify who they were an agent for. The issuing bank in Germany immediately flagged this as a discrepancy under Article 20. The signature was ambiguous. The bank had no way of confirming if the forwarder was acting for the actual carrier responsible for the goods. As a result, the payment was delayed. The exporter had to go back to the forwarder, get the bill of lading corrected to clearly state as agent for XYZ shipping line, the carrier, and represent the documents. This delay cost them time and money. It's a perfect illustration of how a small detail in the signature can cause a major headache. Another common pitfall is the description of goods. What about the bill of lading? The bill of lading often has a much more generic description, like 2 containers said to contain coffee, without the detailed specifications found in the invoice. This is generally acceptable. Banks understand that carriers don't verify the contents of sealed containers. The carrier is just confirming they received the container. So don't panic if the description isn't a word-for-word match with the LC, as long as it's not conflicting. So to wrap up our look at Article 20, always check the signature, ensure it clearly identifies the carrier and the capacity in which the signatory is acting, verify the onboard notation. It must be there, and the date is king. Make sure you have the full set of originals. Avoid any mention of a charter party unless your L or C specifically allows for it under Article 22. And finally, ensure the ports of loading and discharge match the credit. Getting these elements right is fundamental to ensuring your documents fly through the banking system without a hitch. It protects the exporter's payment, the importer's access to the goods, and the bank's security. It truly is the heart of the documentary credit process for shipped goods. I hope this detailed breakdown of UCP 600 Article 20 was helpful. It's a complex area, but understanding these rules is what separates the pros from the amateurs in international trade. If you have any questions or want to share your own experiences with bills of lading, please drop a comment below. I love reading them and learning from you all. Don't forget to like this video if you found it valuable and subscribe for more deep dives into trade finance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.